Hello and welcome to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman Ernest, and joining me today is Miss Sylacauga 2015, Mary Kelly Cantrell. She's going to talk about her activities, what's going on in her life, her year as Miss Sylacauga, which is soon coming to an end, and everything that this pageant system has meant to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a busy time because you're in school full-time in Troy, but before we get there, tell me about your family and your special connection to the library.
Yes, my dad works at Madex and my mom actually works at the library. She is the children's library and she's in charge of the youth services, and then my sister is at Troy with me as well.
And so Miss Mandy Cantrell, obviously she's on the show a lot. We sort of alternate back and forth, and everyone I know, my son Payne loves her, and everything that she does at the library is just absolutely wonderful. And so it's been so nice to see both you and Allison grow up, and now young ladies.
Yes.
And so from Sylacauga, where did you go to school?
I went to Sylacauga High School, yes.
Okay.
Well, I started off at Knollwood and I worked my way up from 1st to 8th grade, and then I jumped to the high school and finished my career out there.
And I know that you excelled in both places, especially at Sylacauga High School. What were some of your activities and honors while you were there?
Well, I was involved in pretty much every club you can be in, you know, FBLA, Key Club. I actually was able to serve as president of that club and just enjoyed it immensely. I was a majorette in the band, I was a color guard in the band, I marched in the band, I just did it all, and I just felt like I'm in high school for 4 years. I want to take advantage of every opportunity I can, so I just jumped head in.
Well, and you did, and you were very involved, I know, because during that time I taught a little bit there, and so very involved in all the social activities and the clubs and organizations, but of course your academics were important as well, and I know that you finished top 3 in your class, and so I know that your parents were very proud of that. Your sister, I think, did something very similar as well, so excellent students, both of you. And so after you graduated, what year did you graduate?
2013.
2013, and during your high school, did you participate in the Miss Sylacauga program any? Or
I did, actually. I was able to do it. Well, I was Miss Teen Sylacauga. Man, that was probably 2015. That was so long ago. So I was able to go on and represent our city in Miss Alabama's Outstanding Teen Pageant. I placed top 10 that year and won talent, and I loved the teen program. It was great. I made a lot of friends. I learned a lot about the pageant system, just learning how to do interview skills, learning about how to represent your city, how to uphold a platform, you know, how to walk with elegance and grace. And I just had a lot of fun and a lot of support from the city. And then my senior year after high school, I was able to compete in the pageant. I think I got like second runner-up one year, first runner-up one year, and then I was able to be crowned this past year. It just really taught me about like hard work and determination and working for something I'd wanted for so long.
Well, and I think that so many people don't realize, like, one of the main reasons that you would compete, not only, you know, is it wonderful to represent our city and the different skills you learn, but it's for scholarships.
Absolutely. I received a lot when I was a teen, but especially even more as a Miss. They realize you're in college, you are broke as a joke, you know, your parents are trying to make ends meet. So the scholarship portion of the Miss Sylacauga was even bumped up this year. Like, it just really made me realize how much the city cares for this pageant. They went as far as cutting their program book from this massive, like 70-page beautiful thing just to something simple and basic, so that money could be put into the scholarship program.
Well, and I think that that's a great thing about the Miss Sylacauga pageant, which is the longest running preliminary in the state of Alabama. And I was Miss Sylacauga in 1997, a long time ago, and there are people way before that. But that we do have such great support from the city and from different businesses and individuals, because that is the most important thing, is that we support you young ladies and giving you scholarships. And so I know that that's very beneficial, and that they've even received awards for scholarship monies, that it's more so than a lot of the other different preliminaries in the state. And so I know one thing that's been new the past few years is that we now have 2 titles. Tell us about that.
All right, so this makes Sylacauga even better. There's the Miss Sylacauga pageant, which this year will be the 76th year. It's a closed pageant just for girls in the Sylacauga area, which makes it more special.
Right.
But Miss Marble Valley is our newest one, and it's been going for the past couple of years, and it is an open pageant for anyone in the state to compete in. And we've had the past couple of Miss Marble Valleys do very well at the Miss Alabama pageant. They've gone on to hold other titles, and they're just really well-rounded girls.
Right, and so for those of you not in the pageant lingo, go. So a closed preliminary would mean, like you said, for Miss Sylacauga, that would just be for the girls in the area that go to the area schools. But for these open preliminaries, and they're held throughout the state, the young ladies can come from throughout the state. In fact, we've had some from Shelby County and all over the state to have our title winners. And so that way, if they are interested in participating in this program, that they can basically go around to these different open preliminaries, ours, Miss Marble Valley, until they win a title, if indeed they do, and to compete at the Miss Alabama level. And so I know both you and Miss Isabella Powell, who was our Miss Marble Valley, represented us so well in June at the Miss Alabama pageant. And if you've never been to the Miss Alabama pageant, it is an extravaganza.
Yes, it is a show for sure.
It really is. I mean, it is worth that ticket money because it is amazing. And we were so proud to see you up there on stage. But just tell us about everything, because I know there was a lot involved. You're there for at least a week.
Yes,
the different activities and things that you did while you were there.
Gosh, they kept us busy while we were there. You know, we were there for a couple of days before the show even started. We, of course, were rehearsing, learning our dance numbers, but then also we were going out in the community. We went to Children's Hospital, and each group of girls had a shift to go and just play with the kids and write cards and do little puzzles with them. And it like humbled us all and made us realize like what we're actually there for. Not the makeup and the jewels and the crown, but for the kids. Like Children's Miracle Network is the national platform for the Miss America organization. So along with your own personal platform, you get the privilege of working with these kids and raising money for them. And it was really awesome. That was probably my favorite part of the whole pageant system.
I bet. And I know even, I think I saw pictures with Habitat for Humanity and out working. Yeah, they have you definitely
That was
working.
really fun too.
Yeah, and I know there's autograph sessions.
Yes.
And, and you don't realize at that age that there's so many people that look up to you, and you will see years later, these little girls have grown up and I remember when you were on stage and, the crown and everything. And so it is still so special, and that you're such a role model for so many people in so many different ways. And so a lot of preparation, and then the way the preliminaries work at the Miss Alabama is that you do a different competition each night, correct?
Yes, I started the very first night. I was able to do talent, which is my favorite, so I got to start off with a bang. So I performed my talent that first night, and then the next night I was able to do swimsuit and onstage question, and then the very last night I ended with an evening gown.
Oh, and it was all wonderful. And so for anybody who has missed, because I know that you perform all over, what is your talent?
My talent, I sang Time to Say Goodbye, which is an operatic song, and it's in Italian, and it's dramatic, and I wear a big red dress and end with the high note. It's what every soprano dreams of.
Oh yeah, well, you have an amazing talent, and I know that you do more than just singing, that you have other talents as well, but it was wonderful to see you. And so I know you've performed in a lot of different areas and places. Tell me about some of those.
Oh man, I've been able to do everything. My voice teacher in high school, Miss Susie Hammond, she was able to get me in every kind of Sylacauga event there was. If it was a promise day, I was there singing. If it was a church event, I was there singing. We would have annual recitals, I was there singing. It was all about getting me in the community.
Right, I know, I remember at the Marble Festival, performances there as well, in which it was so special because we have our visiting sculptors from Italy, and you can sing in Italian.
Man.
And that's a little bit of, I'm sure, nerve-wracking, but they could actually understand what you were saying.
Yes, that was probably one of my favorite performances, because after it was over with, I went and asked them, and I said, okay, tell me, how is my Italian?
Right.
I don't really know what I'm saying,
Right.
He was like, it's like I have an accent in Italian, it's like you have, an American accent while singing Italian. I was like, oh, okay, well, a little redneck Italian there.
A little Southern, Well, and that's what I can't even imagine, that beyond, your vocal skills is that you're singing it in a different language. So that takes it to a whole nother level of difficulty, and you really did so well. There's so much that's involved. I know even with your gowns and your costumes and the preparation, and you're not all about that. You're not. I don't think a pageant-y kind of.
No.
You know what you say, but you just looked beautiful up
Thank
there.
you.
And so, what about? I know you room with. Do you just have one roommate while you're there, and where do you stay throughout the week?
We actually got to stay in the Sanford sorority houses, which are like dorms essentially. And I had a wonderful roommate, Susanna Bagwell. She was Miss Birmingham at the time, and we just got along so well. Her sister had been part of the pageant system before, so she was able to help lead me through the loops. It was her first year as well, but she was just wonderful. Her mom was so sweet, gave me a little present. were with each other each step of the way. And then she was just one number behind me.
Oh, wow.
So, every time I walked off for talent, she was walking on, and we just give each other a high five. And it was wonderful to have a roommate there taking each step of the way with me.
Well, and it was one of those things on stage. Of course, I was looking for you, but you just exude such happiness, and you could tell that you were enjoying it.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed watching you. And I think it's so neat to have that many girls. How many girls were in the Miss Alabama?
I think there was 50 plus.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Right, that from all over the state and different schools and colleges, that, you have these newfound friends.
Exactly.
And so it's helpful. And so I know that you've used some scholarship money
yes.
at Troy, which is your university. Tell me about your activities there, or some of them. There's so many that we can spend probably an hour just on those, but sort of what drew you to Troy in the first place?
Gosh, Troy had it all. At the time, I was a music ed major, and they have a wonderful music ed program. I've now swapped since to human services, which is also a great program, so it really worked out well for me. They had a band. I knew I wanted to do majorette, so that was just another check. I got an amazing scholarship. I had a pretty good ACT score, but these days college is just competitive. And Troy is generous. They are so generous. I have a full tuition scholarship.
Right.
So I was very thankful, and my parents were as well. I was also able to get another scholarship for doing choir. That's something I love to do. I do it even now as a human services major. I'm not even in music.
Right.
So I get to just continually expound in voice lessons, in learning different languages. We're going to sing in German next semester, so that should be interesting. But I've just really taken advantage of everything at Troy. I got to join a sorority, something we don't have in high school, obviously, but has been wonderful. I was able to serve as vice president of Chi Omega this year, and it was hard sometimes, but man, it taught me a lot about communication, a lot about the importance of just getting the girls pumped up about, I was in charge of scholarship and grades and library hours and study hall, the not so fun part of college, the school part. No one really likes that.
Yeah, that's the reason you're there.
Exactly. Oh man, but I was really able to just get everyone pumped up and really encouraged to go after those high grades.
Well, and I think that's a wonderful example, and I feel like I did the same when I went to school, is that I wanted to be involved in everything, because college is, it is about getting your degree and of course the academic part, but there's so much more to it, and it feels like you've taken advantage of every aspect. What year are you in college right now?
I'm a junior this year.
A junior, so you only have a year and a half left?
I know.
You're actually on the 4-year plan. Not everybody's on the 4-year. Your mom's excited about that as well.
Me too.
Yeah. And so now this is the first year that not only are you there, but your younger sister is.
Yes, my sister is there. She's actually been able to do band as well. She's on the color guard line, and she's actually in both of the choirs that I'm involved with as well. So, people ask us, like, do you ever get to see each other? And I'm like, absolutely. Every day at band, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday at choir.
Wow. And I know that's a huge time commitment, especially during the fall, because this year, not only are you majorette, you're
majorette captain.
Head majorette, right? And so I'm sure that's a whole new level of responsibility and time consuming. And so for any of you who actually made it to a Troy game, or some of those that are on TV, then to look for you at halftime.
Absolutely.
And so now, do you play in the band at any time, or you're just strictly majorette?
I am strictly majorette.
Okay, so it's not like with high school where you play during concert season.
Oh, they don't want me. I'm not that good.
What instrument did you play when you were in high school?
I played French horn, and I kind of jumped in freshman year and just kind of learned as I went, and I got a lot better, but I was by no means good.
Well, and the great thing about band, I think, if you're vocally inclined or anything, that you're learning music, because I never played piano, but I learned music through actually band and through the high school. And I know we're sad this year. We've talked about that Mr. David Simpkins is retiring, and what a legacy they are at Sylacauga High School, his whole family. But the music program and the fine arts program is really growing there. And I know that's exciting for people like you who enjoy the arts and have such immense talent. Now, you do the choir, you do majorette, sorority, but I know another big portion is your campus outreach activities. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to get into that and your future plans and all the exciting things with Miss Sylacauga coming up.
In Central Alabama, 9,100 kids face going to bed hungry tonight. Hunger doesn't take a day off. There are kids right here, right now, that don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Alabama Childhood Food Solutions and help put an end to childhood hunger in Central Alabama. Make a difference. Donate today, by mail or online, to help ACFS feed hungry kids. There's no better time to share than now. their next meal could come from you.
Any meal, anytime, it's a Huddle House on Highway 280. From the popular Huddle House signature waffle to our big house breakfast, including gravy and biscuit and loaded hash browns, it's a Huddle House. Try our Philly cheese steak omelet. It's a sure hit, too. Our big house sandwich combos include Huddle burger and country fried steak. And for lunch or dinner, it's the often requested chopped steak with mushroom gravy. Starting to get hungry? Head to the Huddle House. Our friendly and experienced team await you. Huddle House, Highway 280, any meal, anytime.
At Marble City Pharmacy, we're more than just a drugstore. Our gift shop boasts some of the most unique treasures you'll find anywhere. Come in and browse the vast selection of jewelry, purses, clothing accessories, and crafts. Let our friendly staff help you find that special card or gift for any occasion. Our dollar wall features selected sale items, and we stock a wide variety of specialty items. And if it is a drugstore you need, Marble City Pharmacy was named the 2015 McKesson National Pharmacy of the Year. Visit us today at Marble City Pharmacy.
Since 1935, the Collins family has been the automobile business in Sylacauga. Bobby and Anderson Collins carry on that tradition today at Stop and Shop Auto Sales. Select from late model cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our vehicles do not go on the lot until they are thoroughly inspected by our experienced mechanics. At Stop and Shop Auto Sales, we offer a 30-day warranty on all our inventory. Family owned and operated for 4 generations. Stop and Shop Auto Sales, 230 West 1st Street in Sylacauga.
Hello and welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman-Ernest, and joining us today is Mary Kelly Cantrell. She's our Miss Sylacauga 2015, and we have just been having a wonderful time getting to know Mary Kelly. She is a joy to be around. We were so proud to have her represent us at the Miss Alabama pageant this past June, and she's no stranger to the system because you served as our Miss Alabama Outstanding Teen, or Miss Sylacauga Outstanding Teen, and participated in the Miss Alabama Outstanding Teen. And so we want to promote obviously the Miss Sylacauga pageant, which is our longest running preliminary in the state. And so what is the date for the new one? I think it's January 30th.
Yes.
So just right around the corner. And so what I want to do, in talking to you, you've told us about all the wonderful ways you've won scholarship monies, but to promote it and to get girls involved in it, because I think it can be so helpful in so many different ways. What are some of the things that you have to do if you're in Miss Sylacauga, just for those people who have never competed or been to it?
Some of the things you have to do, obviously you have to do evening gown, bathing suit, interview, and talent. But beyond that, just the competition side, you have to have a platform. That's something that I think sets the Miss America organization apart from any other pageant system. It is not a beauty competition.
No.
I mean, that's an aspect in it, obviously, but it's not the important part. It's all about creating a well-rounded woman who is passionate about not only bettering herself, physically, mentally, but it's about bettering the community around her.
Exactly.
So your platform, people get really nervous about this. It's something you're passionate about. For me, I love music. I love singing. It is my passion. So my platform is creative possibilities through performing arts. Really this year's Miss Sylacauga, I was just, privileged to go into every school system. I got to go to the high school and really promote show choir, which this year is taking off.
That's so exciting.
They had to have auditions this year, which is a big deal.
Yes.
Considering they were pretty much bribing kids to get in it last year, And so that was just really encouraging to go and tell them how lucky they were, how much I wished I'd had that in high school, and how excited I was to see Mr. Tidwell just taking it by its bootstraps and really taking it places.
Right.
And I'm excited to come back in the next couple of years. Like, who knows when I graduate, what will it be like?
Right, exactly. And so I think that's a wonderful way, because everybody has something that they're passionate in or strong.
Absolutely.
I think one of the neat things is our Miss Marble Valley this year, Miss Isabella Powell.
Yes.
Her platform had to do with adoption because her younger sibling, her brother, was adopted, and the adoption was here in the state. And so it gives young women a voice and a way to reach out, like you said, into the community. So it's more than just walking up on stage.
Absolutely.
And like you said, a beauty pageant. And so that's something that I know that you'll continue to do regardless if you're Miss Sylacauga or anything like that. And so you said that you actually started in music education, but you've recently changed your major to, and what is it called?
Human Services.
Human Services. And so tell me, what would that, when you graduate in Human Services, what would be your ideal job, or what kind of pathway would that take you into?
Well, Human Services is a lot like social work. I take a lot of the same classes, really just learning how to communicate with people and how to help them with their problems. So my ideal job actually would be working with campus outreach. So Human Services is a really great just basis for ministry. I mean, you're learning all about people and how to help them with their problems, and with social work, it's how to solve it, with psychological help or,
right.
Resources in the community. But I can take all of that and then apply it to Jesus. So
right.
it works out perfectly for me, and then maybe one day if I don't want to be on staff with Campus Outreach, I want to get married, settle
right.
down, have a family, I can go and I can work in the social work industry. I could work anywhere from adoption to
sure.
DHR to
right.
women's health centers. Literally, Human Services is so broad, and that's why
right.
I really liked it.
Right, or it's almost like it reminds me of SAFE here in Sylacauga, that there's so many different aspects that they reach out to in the community. Mm-hmm. And so I know with your summer activities and your activities with Campus Outreach, which is a program at mm-hmm. Troy, that you've already had tons of experience. What about the summer projects that you do, mm-hmm. and tell us about those?
Well, these past 2 summers, I was really able to go to Campus Outreach. They put on something called Summer Beach Project. So my very first summer, I went down to Destin for 2 months, and then the second summer, we moved to Panama City. That was a big change. But what you do is you work for 2 months. I worked at McDonald's my first summer, and then Sonic was really difficult to work at.
I always tip well at Sonic.
Thank you. People don't know you're supposed to tip the waitresses.
Right. Yes, of course. That's a lot of hard work.
Yes.
And so you're working at these fast food
mm-hmm.
establishments, but what else are you doing, and the main reason you're there?
The main reason you're there is honestly to grow spiritually in your own walk. This past summer, we actually had 35 people come to know Christ, which was incredible. A lot of people go down thinking, well, I go to church and I'm a pretty good person and I'll just do this to get the money and have the friends. But they just have a real spiritual experience, and God just meets them where they're at, and they just realize, wow, I have not surrendered my life to the Lord. I am living for myself and
right.
doing my own things. So every single day, what a daily schedule looks like for Beach Project. You wake up, you go to your meeting, it's very much like the Campus Outreach meetings we have back at Troy. When you go, you might have a little worship time, you have the speaker come. We talked about anything from godly relationships to idols you have in your life to missions if you want to do that as a career, pretty much anything you can think of. Right. Beach Project is kind of like a microwave. They stick you in there and you just grow like crazy.
Right.
And it's a wonderful experience. I got to do it for 2 summers, and I highly encourage everyone to go. It's worth every penny.
Well, and especially, we hear so much in young adults and, going astray, but to have such leadership and amazing opportunities, it's really wonderful. And it's just a blessing, I think, for us older people to even see just a young generation rising up. And so you told me earlier that this summer your mission field is definitely increasing.
A little bigger.
Where are you going, and what are you going to be doing?
I will actually be going to Brazil this summer. It's still with Campus Outreach. It'll be a much smaller team than Beach Project. Beach Project is about 300 kids that go down. Wow. Our team, I think, is about 15 people. We'll be going to Brazil for 2 whole months. I'll leave, middle to end of May and get back about the second week of July. And we're going to be going down there, and they have a Campus Outreach actually in Brazil. So we'll be pretty much on staff for those 2 months, and we'll be going out into the community and going out into the schools, just making relationships with the Brazilians, talking to them about their life, tell me your story, yeah. How is God a part of your story? It's a Catholic nation, but they're not very devout by any means. It's kind of just like we're Catholic,
Right.
So going out there, building relationships. Apparently they're very friendly and open people, which is really encouraging, because in other parts of the world, it's really hard to break through that barrier.
Right.
The thing I'm most excited about, of course, is hopefully meeting someone and leading them to Christ. But even if that doesn't happen, I think I'll be able to see the fruits of our ministry continued on because they have Campus Outreach down there. They've got full-time staff. If I bring a girl and get her plugged into the ministry, maybe later on she'll become a Christian, or it's just going to be encouraging to keep up with them and see how the kids that we've met and, the friends we've made, how their lives are changed through this.
Well, and I think it'll also give you a glimpse. You were talking about future plans that you'd love to continue with this organization, and that perhaps you would be a year-long mission field farther away, right?
Yes.
Where would be some possibilities if this were to come to fruition in a year and a half that you could go?
If I was able to do a vision pathway, which is the big fancy word for going and having a one-year missionary opportunity, the places I'd be considering are New Zealand, Australia, China, and then Brazil. It sounds really crazy. My parents are not totally on board right now, but it's just really going to be that good transition between college. I've been in school my whole life.
Right.
People say high school to college is a transition. It's not. It's the same thing, just bigger place, more responsibility. But now, I'm going from college to the real world. Like, I'm supposed to find a job, start a family, and
it's a lot.
It's scary,
It is scary.
So, even if I don't go overseas, even if I stay in the States, I could go to Mobile, I could go to Philadelphia, San Diego. And really what a vision pathway does, it gets you plugged into the local church there. It gives you someone to disciple you, to lead you, and then also gets you involved in doing ministry in that city, whether you are in Australia or you are in Mobile, It's really just to continue that transition of teaching you to find a church, to get involved, to find someone to lead you, but then also, maybe starting a job, or if you want to continue doing your ministry as your job.
That's so exciting. And I think especially at this age, like you said, right out of college, you're not tied down with family and kids. What a perfect opportunity. And you're young and full of life and energy to go and explore. And, and that's what I love to see. I spent a summer in Europe, and it was just such a life-changing experience. You grow up in Sylacauga, but just to go to these places, regardless of what it is you're doing, it's just going to be, I know, a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to hear more about it. Coming up, there's still a little bit of time for you to serve as Miss Sylacauga. You'll be in the Christmas parade.
Yes, so excited.
Right, and just a week or so away. And then we will be preparing for this year's, the 2016 Miss Sylacauga. I think a theme, I'm not going to reveal it yet, has already been chosen, but it'll be perfect for this Marble City. And then Isabella Powell will come back, of course. And so this year we'll be actually having 4 winners crowned. So the Miss Sylacauga and the Miss Marble Valley, and then there'll be
Miss Sylacauga's Outstanding Teen, Miss Marble Valley Outstanding Teen.
Okay, and that's the younger division. And what's great about that, which is something that's relatively new, is that, like you did, they can go on to participate in the Miss Alabama Outstanding Teen. And so it's just growing this field that by the time you get to Miss Alabama, it's nothing, right?
Exactly. You're a pro.
You've done
by
it.
then.
Yeah, and so with the platform, I know that that's something you can work on with interview skills. How did you prepare for interviews, when it came to Miss Alabama or Miss Sylacauga? What did you do?
I was so privileged to work with Mike Landers. He was so helpful. He loves the pageant system. He loves seeing the girls get out of their comfort zone, do something that's going to help them for the long term. So we would meet, sometimes once a week. Sometimes I'd be in school, wouldn't be able to meet.
Right.
Just sitting down, having a conversation about current events. That is huge for the pageant system. If you don't know your politics, it's not good. They'll ask you a question and you won't be prepared.
Right.
So that was really helpful because he is very up to date on his current events. So that was wonderful, being able just to communicate with him, talk about things, help form an opinion on it. Something that I really had to learn throughout the process is there's never a wrong answer. If your opinion is something different than the judges, that's not, they're not going to hate you. They're not going to give you a bad score.
Right.
If you represent your opinion well and you tell them, I believe in this or I don't believe in this, and you represent your answer well, then, they're not going to give you a bad score if they have a different opinion.
Well, and I think that that's one of the ways that, you're extremely mature, for your age, and that I think that interview process, I know with me, it helped me in so many aspects, not just job interviews. There's some young people who've never had any kind of interview experience, and so when you've gone through and for years had this, you are head and shoulders above when it comes to job interviews or for an organization or to be selected for something, because you have so much experience with it and being on stage and public speaking and performing, that it can only help you regardless of your career pathway and field. So we want to promote young ladies to get out here to participate in the Miss Sylacauga program. Wonderful for scholarships.
Yes.
And so the packets, I guess, can be reached or gotten at the rec, and you fill out some information and I know you and any of the young people that have participated would be willing to help or give advice, anything that these young people need. And so January 30th, it's coming up. We look forward to not you giving up your crown, but to see you again on stage is so exciting, and to see a new winner crown. And I know that there's just going to be a wonderful future for you. We're so proud of you, and
Thank you.
so happy to have you as a representative, Mary Kelly. And thank you so much for joining us today on the Library Connection.
Thank you.